Happy Wednesday. Welcome into another edition of PTN Extra. Evan Kamiko alongside Courtney Mims and Trey Dare. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, fall camp is the big theme of the week, but today's an off day, so we'll put them aside and we'll talk Courtney's favorite thing in the world, Arkansas men's basketball. The SEC schedule finally came out. We know who the Hogs are playing officially and when. More importantly, when they're playing them. Let's pop up the schedule, show you guys kind of the marquee matchups before we dive into all of our takes right now. They open up SEC play against Tennessee. That game going to be on January 3rd. Now, you got a couple of days that are the 6th or 7th or 2 dates. Not sure if it's going to be a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Right after Tennessee, Arkansas goes to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Then at Auburn that following Saturday. Then from there, some of the other marquee matchups. Kentucky coming to town on the 31st, as well as LSU is going to be on the road. So after Kentucky, they've got the bye. Then at Mississippi State at LSU. Then February, tough stretch. Alabama on the 17th or 18th. They're going to be in Tuscaloosa. Then home for 2 against Missouri and Texas A&M that following week. And then at Florida on the 28th. That is going to be a fun game, getting to see Boogie Fland in Florida colors playing against his former team. And then we wrap up Texas on 3-3 or 3-4 before finally the SEC schedule ends on 3-7 at Missouri. SEC tournament in Nashville that following week. Courtney, we'll start with you, the basketball guru.
Thank you.
What is the most anticipated game you think on this roster?
Yeah, well, I got to say, for one, I like this favorable draw for Arkansas. I mean, usually we're talking about the SEC and
I thought I knew what your answer was going to be, by the way.
No, you know already.
If the people out there don't know, they better get familiar, right?
They better get familiar. They already know it's going to be Kentucky. They already know it's going to be that Kentucky matchup. I've said this before. I will say it again. The SEC lost an opportunity when they announced these opponents. You get 2, you'll play like Auburn twice in your schedule. I believe they play Missouri twice. They play LSU twice. They had an opportunity to go, okay, we can get a matchup between Kentucky at Kentucky and a matchup at home with Arkansas and Kentucky. They missed out, in my opinion. But I think everybody is excited because I was there at Rupp Arena last February, and guys, that environment was just insane for Coach Cal's return. They still have a lot of feelings about Arkansas with the fan base there.
They'll be heard here too.
They will show up. Oh, I know they will. I know they've already told me they'll be showing up that day. I put it out there on my social media this morning. I said, January 31st, I'm ready for it. And they are in my replies already. They are in the DMs telling me they will be here January 31st for that game. And I think it'll be exciting because obviously it's exciting to see Coach Cal's return to Kentucky. But I think now it's his second year. He said it not too long ago, a few weeks ago when he opened practice, that he feels a lot more comfortable year 2. He feels a lot better going into year 2. He's really confident about this year's team. We are as well. So I feel like that matchup with Kentucky is going to feel really good in Bud Walton Arena. But I have to say, this schedule, man, usually the SEC, and
best conference in the country.
Seriously, but usually the SEC does something to mess with Arkansas, where usually they're going, okay, Arkansas is going to get the bad end of the stick, so to speak. But this schedule, I mean, goodness gracious, you have a bye that February 3rd/4th, and then you go into 2 games on the road. You have some favorable matchups on Saturday against tough SEC opponents. Where? In Bud Walton Arena. That's got to make you feel good about going into this season.
Yeah, and it's important too. Hey, this is on paper. Games are played on the court, so that's something we really got to get familiar with. Yeah, I'm with you on Kentucky. Would be really cool to see Cal go back there any kind of time. And what I remember from afar watching that game is how hard Arkansas played for Calipari. Obviously, the Big Blue Nation, they bought into it. But Arkansas's players, they knew what that game meant for Calipari. And they went out there and they fought for their head coach. And clearly that was the swing point in their season, which propelled them to the Sweet 16 and very nearly the Elite 8. So easy to get excited for that game. Should be really interesting with Arkansas. Even higher expectations, I think, this year than they had 1 year ago. And I don't know how you can't get up for the Florida game.
Oh, my gosh.
Naturally, in college basketball, with the landscape changing, rosters being turned over all the time now. So Florida's going to be a little bit different. But Boogie Fland, who so much is being made about his payday there at Florida and whatever his role is going to be. But guys, let's be honest. I don't really think he had a role here at Arkansas that had a lot to do with probably why he was going out. So yeah, that game's going to mean something to Arkansas players that played with him a year ago. You know, whatever their rotation's going to end up being, but also on Boogie Flan's aspect, like, hey, he could be motivated too. It's why didn't you guys find the money? Why didn't you want me? Why didn't I have a more expanded role? Why did I have to hear on social media about all these people all season long last year whenever ultimately we had a good year that I wasn't a good fit here? So it's not just for Arkansas. That game's going to be a motivating factor for Boogie Flan as well.
And I'll say this to that point, Trey. I believe that he's going to be motivated all season long with this Florida squad. There's a lot of expectations on them to,
do what UConn just did.
Exactly, and go back to back. They have a lot of expectations, and they brought him on because they said, we need a guy like you. We need a point guard with your prowess. And so he has a lot of expectations over there, but I also know that, hey, there might be some feelings between this squad and him as well, with them going to the Swamp, with them going over to Gainesville for that game. I agree with you there. That is one to watch. I almost wish that was here. I know they played Florida here last year, but there wasn't.
Somewhere in the state, you could check out the game.
No, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there, but I think that'd be really fun to watch that game.
I think I'm excited for either Alabama or Texas, two of the teams that we really haven't talked about. You look at Texas, I remember that game last year, especially when it was here, double overtime, went deep. Arkansas needed the win, and they got it. Now, Texas has a whole new regime. They're going to look different. Sean Miller comes over from Xavier, so that's going to be exciting to see that Texas game. But also Alabama, a team you can't sleep on. What Nate Oates has done down in Tuscaloosa has been incredible, turning that from a football school to a basketball school as well as a football school. Again, who knows what's going to happen.
I like how you couch it there.
But
I like that.
You got to a little bit. You got to a little bit. So it's really fun to see. I think those are two of the games that I'm really excited about to see. How is Arkansas going to stack up in year two against Cal, against one team who has history with Arkansas going back to the Southwestern Conference, but also with the top dog in the SEC?
Yeah, I'm also going to bring up, since we're bringing up that Alabama game, I know I say it's a favorable schedule, but I'm also going to bring up where Arkansas fans, they feel slighted, right, year after year after year. And so since the 2019-2020 season, and shout out to Josh Rugger, our meteorologist, for bringing this up.
Superfan Josh.
Superfan Josh brought this up because 8 times they have matched up with Alabama since that season. 5 of those matchups have been at Alabama, and this will be the 6th. So you can see there's an imbalance there. I'll go even further, right? To talk about Tennessee, 9 of the last 12 matchups that they've had with Tennessee, they've been in Knoxville. There's an imbalance there. And so, look, I look again, I was like, I was hoping Alabama would be here, knowing that, and I kind of said, all right, well, yeah, they're not. They're at Alabama.
Well,
so.
Tell us how you really feel, Courtney, and that is a perfect segue into what we're going to next talk about is this favorability of the schedule. You kind of brought it up earlier. We know where you stand, Trey. Do you like the schedule for Arkansas? Do you think it's a fair schedule, or do you think the SEC did them dirty?
I got no problems with it. Certainly, I think a bigger picture, both in football and in basketball, I'd like to see more scheduling balance, similar to what the NFL does. And what I mean by that is the top teams play the top teams, the bottom tier teams play the top teams. That allows for some teams that are maybe struggling for a while, don't quite have the pedigree that a lot of the same teams have, to rise to the occasion, so to speak. And it never lose sight of this. Really important. They get a lot of money because of this. It's a TV product. So I want the best games on television. Like you said, I want to see Arkansas play Kentucky twice.
Yes.
I want to see the Final Four teams playing each other from a year ago in Auburn and Florida. I want to see that matchup twice. I want to see the historic rivals too. Fan bases that absolutely hate each other. I guess Kentucky's kind of the brand that everybody basketball-wise in the SEC wants them to come to their gym. But give me the atmosphere. Give me the ambiance of the arena. Give me just a better rotation. Some of those numbers you were throwing out there, Courtney. I don't know why there is that kind of an imbalance, but don't want to be seeing Arkansas go to Vanderbilt. You want to
Vanderbilt's got a good atmosphere, though.
Hey, and you know what? Fans, even here in the great state of Arkansas, they're never going to complain about a trip to Nashville. But beyond that, we want to see the rivals. Texas is new to the SEC. That's a team you want to see them being played twice nearly every single year. And if it's Kentucky right now with the Calipari thing, same thing. Why can't they be playing each other a little bit more often? But yeah, there should be a better balance of how exactly they rotate the schedule.
And I agree.
not many players are
agree.
on campus for 4 years anymore. Zero excuse why any player doesn't play in every single gym in the conference at least once, if not very close to twice.
And I agree with you completely there, because I just don't like the imbalance, and that's why I brought up those stats there, because it's like, hey guys, when it's not completely equal and you're seeing somebody going somebody on the road much more than they're coming here, that's a problem. Because Bud Walton Arena is a great atmosphere. You guys both know this. It's one of the best atmospheres in college basketball. It's one of the reasons when I came to Arkansas, I was excited to go see a game in Bud Walton Arena for the very first time. Oh gosh, it's nothing beats it, honestly.
Yeah.
But like, it's the SEC trying to force some things on us, and that's where I get a little upset, because every sport is different. Where you'll have people. Okay, we know that in football it's a little bit different than basketball. We'd like to see Kentucky and Arkansas match up a little bit more in basketball. In football, no. In baseball, no. Right? But that's where I plead with the SEC to go, look, stop trying to force this Missouri rivalry down our throats, because it's not. I get it. They're the rivals. I get it. I get you guys want to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, all right?
Mean Girls over here.
Yeah, it's just, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen, SEC. Stop trying to force that rivalry on us. And so every time I'm going, okay, yeah, they have to play Missouri twice. I agree with you. Let's see them play Texas twice. Let's see them play some other teams twice in a season, rather than saying, okay, we got to live and die on the hill of having Arkansas play Missouri twice.
And especially when you look at Arkansas, who's projected to be in the top of the SEC yet again with another really good incoming freshman class, transfer class. I mean, the South Carolina game, seeing Nick Pringle go against his old team, and Alabama. He's been around the block a little bit, which is fun to see, but you would almost like to see, right? Like, do we have to see Arkansas play LSU twice, who didn't make the tournament, one of the 3 teams in the SEC last year to not go to the NCAA tournament? So you'd like to see a little more variation in the schedule, and maybe a little bit more Arkansas playing the teams that would, to Trey's point, drive up the ratings a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good for the SEC, too. Come on, guys. I mean, they want ratings as well.
You know, in fairness, though, you wonder how much of a ratings driver is Arkansas. I think Cal's a draw, no question. But in terms of like the national brand, I don't know, maybe that could be why Arkansas gets a little bit of the shorter end of the stick as opposed to your massive brand, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. Tennessee, they've got fan base. Kentucky certainly, they've got fan bases that can compete a little bit more on that level. But winning cures all. There's no better form of marketing in the world that you could sell the bobbleheads. You can have firework nights, free hot dogs, whatever you want. Arkansas is going to start winning. They're going to perennially be in the top 10. They will have marquee games, Bud Walton, and all across the SEC.
Hey, that's why Coach Cal is scheduling those games, right? If you look at that non-conference slate, I mean, I look at this SEC schedule, it's great right now, but they're taking on tough competition in that non-conference slate. And to be fair, you're going to have drivers. I mean, those are ratings. Those are going to be ratings madness. I mean, I can't wait for people to tune in and get excited about basketball. We shouldn't be just getting excited in January. For this team, you can get excited in literally October, right? Because you're going into the season, you're getting excited already with those non-conference matchups that Coach Cal is going out and saying, all right, we're going to go and get people excited about this basketball team right off the rip. And I think I will say this. I think Arkansas is a ratings driver when it comes to basketball, because I will say that everybody, and I've talked to so many people about this, where they have the argument, is Arkansas a football school, or are they a basketball school, or are they a baseball school? And I've always said that the most casual fan always says, well, Nolan Richardson. Or basketball. Basketball's king there. Eric Musselman was there. He drove, oh my gosh, he put Arkansas really back on the map, so to speak, because he's taking off his shirt. He's doing all of those things.
When they hired Mike Anderson, Anderson was the hottest coach in the country.
There you
that
go.
was who
There you go.
everybody wanted. It was the perfect bridge back to Nolan Richardson. And yeah, prior to Nolan getting here, you probably did look at Arkansas strictly as a football school. Frank Broyles was that, Bear Bryant, Joe Paterno type, and Nolan had so much to do with getting that flip. But I don't know how big of a draw college baseball is. It's not like they're on a traditional linear television channel or whatever, but Arkansas baseball, in that sport, in that fan base, they're a draw.
Yeah.
So if they can do, you're a college baseball fan, you want to see games at Baum Walker.
Yeah.
John Calipari might not be the best coach in the country, but I say this with 100% certainty. He's the biggest star in coaching in college basketball.
Absolutely.
So that in itself is a draw. And if Arkansas gets, it's like the pro wrestling thing, you get the rub, right? Being in the ring with Hulk Hogan. Arkansas is going to get the rub from John Calipari here in the next couple of years. And the more and more they win, the more and more that brand will be established.
Absolutely. So, guys, let's put a pin in this because I feel like we could go another 30 minutes on this. But we've got fall camp to talk about. That's coming up on the other side when PTN Extra returns after the break. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back into our PTN studios on this gorgeous Wednesday here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Trey Dare, Courtney Mims, Evan Camico hanging out with you on PTN Extra. Guys, we talked basketball already, but let's talk about the biggest thing going on campus right now, and that is Arkansas football. Fall camp about 5-6 days in so far. I'd say we could recap it, but I feel like you've recapped it so much. I've seen a couple position groups. We've seen the secondary. We've seen the wide receivers a little bit. Curious with some of those two positions, right? Those are the biggest question marks that people have at home. Who's going to be catching passes from Taylon Green, and who's going to be trying to limit opposing offenses' passing games? Who's really stood out in those two groups? Courtney, if you want to take that first, which one would you rather go, offense or defense?
I think I'm going to go wide receivers. Only because, and you guys know this, and I feel like Trey is sick of me saying his name, but Antonio Jordan is he's been just the star of fall camp so far.
The darling of Razorback football.
I mean, seriously, how can you not love this kid?
If he could play as good as the hype is, Arkansas is in for a treat.
I know, seriously. And I can't. I got on a show the other day, and people were asking me, well, Courtney, why are you so excited about this kid? And we've been hearing the hype about him for quite some time now. And I remember Mike, it was during the summer, and Mike Irwin turns to me and he goes, where's the video of this kid? Why can't we find any video of this kid? Right, exactly. Yes, it's a mystery. And I'm going, Mike, this kid's not doing video. This kid's not going to camps. This kid isn't doing anything. And he goes, well, is he really a 3-star then? I'm like, everyone from Warren says he's not. So we'll find out. I was excited to see him that first day of fall camp. And we come in, we're there already. And we're watching. We only get to see 15, 20 minutes. And we're watching them, kind of run their plays. And we can't film that. We can't film that portion of practice. And he was going against the threes. And I was going, okay, I see him, Antonio Jordan over there. And I just remember watching him just in double coverage. I mean, he had two defenders all over him. He leaps up, grabs that ball, gets down. And I feel like he busted through, and he could have gone on for even longer. They
Maybe
cut
like
it
carrying
off.
the guys on his back.
He might have done that. He might have done that. This is a guy that is, 6'6" and what? How?
230. He's listed at it.
Oh my gosh, he could be a tight end. This guy is big. We know Taylon likes to throw to big receivers. I get it. It's against the threes a lot, but I feel like he's going to climb that depth chart. Nobody can stop talking about the guy, right, Trey?
Yeah, and it's so hard nowadays in the current climate of college football for true freshmen, especially unless you're a superstar, to get on the field early. But yeah, I'm most interested in the wide receivers as well. And I like what I see. One thing, it's hard for me to quantify because I wasn't here last year, but and we see so little in practice, so keep that in mind. There's no wasted motion. Everything they're running, everything is organized. It really feels like Bobby Petrino has his hands on what he's doing, and not that he's in control. Sam Pittman's in control, but that offense, it's starting to look like it is in Bobby Petrino's vision. And I like what I see from the wide receivers. With Braylon Sharp and Antonio Jordan. Cam Shanks, have to see exactly how he's going to play into it. A kid that electric with the ball in his hands at 20 yards of punt return. There has to be some kind of package where they can get this kid in space. And Omega Blake, who the coaching staff seems to be really, really high on. It will be so interesting to see how this all plays out. And you're talking about the big body, the contested catch guys, what Taylon Green likes to throw to. Yeah. I think that's because Taylon's such an improv kind of player. So he likes the jump ball kind of.
And he's tall.
Yes.
He can see them.
Somebody he can get it to, on the boundary that is going to win a jump ball, and that is Antonio Jordan, and that is Omega Blake, and these guys have a lot of size to them.
They do.
To transition though to the defensive backs, I really don't know what I see. I see a lot of size. See a whole lot of size.
And some speed too there. They can run. Yeah.
That's what I wonder is going to translate. How does the speed translate? Because in my purview here, if you're bigger, faster, stronger, everybody should be excited. Arkansas is going 9-3, 10-2, book them into the playoff. It can't be that easy. But love it. College football, college basketball for that matter, we were talking about earlier. You want to get old, you want to stay old. So yeah, they're turning over the roster, but all of these transfers they're bringing in,
They're like
lots of experience,
Yeah.
good, high production at smaller schools, decent production at some power schools. So liking what I see there, Kenai Walker, Julian Neal, these guys have some age on them. They have the size. We'll see how it translates to the field. But another thing too, if you don't have the speed, your size, your length can make up for that.
True.
I think ultimately in the SEC, it's a speed conference. Yeah. You want guys that can run, but if you have some length, maybe they can leverage that some other ways.
You have so many speedy wide receivers too.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys have talked so much about the returner or about the new guys. Let's talk a little bit about the returners too, right? Like two guys who pop in my mind. CJ Brown, number 3 this year, changed his number, was 17 last year. People almost have him in a bad memory, a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to him, only because of what happened in that Texas game when Arkansas is going on the drive, potentially could turn it into a 3-point game. He catches a screen pass, fumbles, and then they lose. He's looked a lot bigger and a lot stronger this offseason, done really well with the 2s, I think, so far. And on the defensive side, a guy that we were all asking, is he going to come back? Is he going to stay? We had a chance to talk to him last year as well. And Selman Bridges, who, you talk about guys who are big, guys who are strong. Those are 2 guys who have developed in this program now in year 2 with the Razorbacks and really looking to make a statement as, the guys who are young that you bring in to kind of complement some of those older players that you get out of the portal. So it's fun to see the young guys who are able to develop, especially at those 2 positions, because you've seen a little bit of the 2 go back and forth, whether that's on social media or whatever the Arkansas Razorbacks post that we get to see. Again, we don't get to see a lot. We only get 10 or 15 minutes, but it's fun to see the guys to complement the people that you're talking about. And they're from Arkansas and Texas, 2 guys who have ties to the state and know the state really well.
Larry Worth, I'll throw in there as well.
Please do.
Because, and I'll only
third
say,
year here, correct?
Yeah, well, it's, third year, yeah.
I believe, yeah.
At least the second.
At least year two. I was like, oh gosh, I'm got my years mixed up. But 2 years, this is second year. But here's why I like him. And I don't think this is being talked about enough. Last year, you guys both know this, that he was splitting time between the secondary with the DBs and then also with the linebackers. And he was kind of playing both roles. And not that that's a bad thing. He's a very talented player. I just feel like now he's literally, okay, we're playing one position. He's staying with the DBs. He doesn't have to split time to add for depth in both those position groups. So now he's being able to focus in on his game a lot more. He kind of spoke about that too earlier in the season. I believe the first day of practice, we got to talk to him, and he kind of said, look, you guys don't understand how much that is helping me, how much that feels good to just be with these guys, stick to one game, not have to split time between 2 things. I think you're going to see a different player in him. Talk about physicality too. He looks really good.
And I like what you said there, Evan, too, about guys with ties to the region, from Arkansas, from Texas. That should never be a prerequisite. We want the best players we can possibly get here. Talent's going to win games, not experience, not geography, none of that stuff. But through history, and certainly we talk about this ad nauseum. College football has changed so much, but the best teams at Arkansas are loaded with Arkansas kids. So, hey, maybe some synergy there. We get the natural state kids rolling. They get the program
and they
rolling.
know what it means a little bit more to have Razorbacks across their chest, Arkansas across their chest. It always means a little bit more, and we are in the SEC. It does mean more in the SEC. Before we go, we've got about a minute or 2 left to go. We'll do quick fire here.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of days left of fall camp before the season starts on August 30th. Trey, I'll start with you. Biggest question as we head into week 2 and eventually week 3 of fall camp?
Biggest question mark, man. I guess it's probably got to be Taylon Green. Everybody's telling me how great this kid is, and you got Ben Souders talking about, hey, y'all don't know how hard he was. Well, what if it's not there? What if the pressure what if the year 2 jump under Bobby Petrino isn't there? Because to me, why I say he's the biggest question mark, they can only go as far as Taylon Green is going to take them. It's a quarterback-centric offense. It's now a quarterback-centric sport. So, we think we know what we have in him, right? Mm-hmm. He's a star. All the tangible things are there, man. That kid, when you see him on the field, and I did it just for the first time last week, it is breathtaking.
Yeah.
The size, he looks like an athlete. He's got the cool, the arm sleeve, the leg sleeve.
He does look cool.
He's the full package. He's the full package.
Dude looks like an avatar out there. You see him, you see the speed. He can flat out fly. But what if it just doesn't quite correlate? That completion percentage has to come up. Mm-hmm. The turnovers have to come down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on him. So, yeah, he's going to post and he's going to perform. But if it's not good enough, then I don't know if there's really a pathway to get to that 7-8 win mark that a lot of people think can happen.
Sam Pittman wants 9 wins, so I agree. That's the intermediate passing game. We've got to see him get better there, Courtney.
Mine is going to be, I hope that Taylon Green has the protection he needs, because that was a big question mark last year, right? It's the offensive line.
And they look big.
And
they look really
well,
big.
and that's what, hey, that's great.
I don't know what that
great.
means, but they look big.
That's great, and that's what I was going to say. We see the size there. I'm going to even throw in the defensive line as well,
that was
because the trenches. I'm just going, what did these guys, or how are they going to look actually against other competition? Because we saw them briefly, what was it, on Monday, go up against each other and have some good competition there, and I went, wow, the defensive line, okay, there's some size there. Quincy Rhodes, underrated right now.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be a stud for this team, and nobody is talking about him enough. But the offensive line and defensive line, how are they going to look this year? They have so many new faces, and I'm not saying they don't have they didn't go out and get good additions there. I'm not saying that. I'm just wondering how that's going to translate, all that great size. You know, it's one thing to talk about how physical they look, but Trey, it's another thing to go, how's it going to look against the other SEC opponents and the Notre Dame and the Memphis?
And unfortunately, we won't find that out for a very long time. That's going to do it for PTN Extra this week. For Trey Dare and Courtney Mims, I'm Evan Camico. Thanks for tuning in. Keep the discussion going in the comments right now. What do you think the biggest question for Arkansas is going to be as we head towards football season? We'll see you guys back here next week on PTN Extra.